got bad news for the Bears. Mike Ditka, Walter Payton, Refrigerator Perry, they're not walking through that door anytime soon, so we need to make some changes. You were 8-8 last season, which obviously isn't terrible. The offense was very up and down. Everyone knows the offensive line is to blame, and the quarterback situation is not great. 26th ranked offense in the league last season, 22nd passing the ball, 25th running the ball. They're, what's his name? Matt Nagy is more of a West Coast offense kind of guy, so they like to throw the ball for short completions, move the chains. Reminds me of Ben McAdoo from my Giants for a hot minute. So it doesn't surprise me they don't run the ball that much. They ended up running the ball very effectively towards the end of the season, but it starts with the GM Ryan Pace. Not great at drafting. The elephant in the room is the Trubisky debacle, where he traded up one spot to draft Trubisky over Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. That's not worth discussing any further. It is what it is. But he's not great at drafting. I'm going to try and draft really well for these Bears. You just have to wait to the end of the video to see that. The one good thing he did, Khalil Mack, turned out to be an okay deal. He really, they weren't winning games before Khalil Mack, and he gave them a winning season. His contract is massive. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that, but we'll take a look at it. Head coach Matt Nagy, I like. He's an Andy Reid disciple. I like his offense. I believe in it. They had a lot more success when he gave up play calling to his offensive coordinator, Bill Lazor. He was a quarterback's coach in Philadelphia when he had Nick Foles there when they won the Super Bowl, so that's something. Defensive coordinator, Sean Desai. It'll be his first year. Mike Singletary actually applied, and I'm really shocked that he didn't get the job. But Sean Desai has connections to Vic Fangio. He was essentially Vic Fangio's right-hand man for years, so that might have something to do with it. They're kind of getting Vic Fangio light, so good luck to him. Bears defense is loaded with talent, so that's not the question at all. The cap space is a big question. They are over the cap dramatically, about $17 million now. They just made some cuts. They're going to have to do some more cutting. Notable free agents, Mitchell Trubisky is gone. That's not even worth discussing. Deshaun Gibson doesn't cost a lot of money. They should really keep him at safety. He got paid like $1 million last season. Give him 2 more years, maybe $3 million. You should be able to sign him. Bobby Massey was cut. He was terrible at right tackle. Buster Screen cut. He was the nickel corner. He was the third corner. He made about probably $5-6 million. So yeah, cutting him, not a big deal. We can replace him. The kid that got backing him up was okay. We'll give him a shot, but we'll probably do a little something in the draft, little surprise for you. Cordell Patterson was fantastic for them. I just don't think that he'll be worth. Just is a cap casualty. He's a great weapon for them, but they could probably replace him. They could probably put Tariq Cohen in his role. Mingo, the linebacker, wasn't expensive. It was under $2 million last season. They could let him walk. I don't know. That's kind of cheap. If they can get him under $2 million a year, might as well re-sign him. Roy Robertson Harris, defensive end. Apparently he doesn't want to play for them, so it's not going to be an issue. He'll just walk away. He was injured quite a bit. He's a big dude. He'll be all right somewhere else. So who are we cutting to get under this cap? Khalil Mack is due $26 million pretty much through 2024. There's no way you can cut him. The dead cap is almost $40 million. It's insane. Can we find a trade partner? It's possible, but probably not, because who's going to want to take on that contract unless they're ready to win right now and they have that kind of cap space, which I don't know who has that. Akeem Hicks. Nix was the Giant. Bears fans aren't going to want to hear this, but he is likely to be cut just because he makes good money. He makes about $12 million a year. The dead cap is only $1.5 million, so it's just math. They could probably cut him and maybe try and work out another deal for him, but if they really need to stay under that cap, he yeah, unfortunately, he's just the odd man out. Robert Quinn, they gave him a terrible contract. Gave him a 5-year, $70 million deal, $30 million guaranteed. The cap hit would be tremendous if they cut him, like $24 million. So maybe you could package him in some kind of a trade that'll have worked out in a moment. Nick Foles making $6.5 million, $10 million dead cap if they cut him, so they're stuck with him. Allen Robinson, this is the interesting one. They put the franchise tag on him for $18 million. They're not going to pay him $18 million to play one season. They don't have the cap space for it. So either they would have to extend him. I don't think that's really an option because he's worth at a minimum $18 million a year regardless. He has to get at least a Amari Cooper type money. It could be one of the best receivers in the league. I think they put the tag on him just to lock him up so they could trade him. I have a wonderful trade idea. Send him to the Jets because they're going to probably draft Zach Wilson. They don't have a legitimate target. Trade him to the Jets for Sam Darnold. Bears get a legitimate quarterback. He doesn't make a lot of money. He's still making under $10 million. And if it works out, then they can extend him. So it could be a straight-up trade. Or you can try and unload some of your hot garbage. You could play around with that. But that's essentially what it would be Allen Robinson for Sam Darnold. I think Robinson would want to play in New York for what could be a franchise quarterback. So explore that. Kyle Fuller is great. I only mention him because they could probably restructure his contract, give him a couple more years, and try and get under the cap. Makes about $11 million a year right now. Jimmy Graham, you're gonna have to cut him. He's due $7 million. I don't think there's a cap hit at all. Actually, I could be wrong, but $7 million for Jimmy. You could trade him. I'm sure there are teams that would pay $7 million. He played fantastic this season. He had a resurgent year, so he might be worth $7 million to some other team and try and pick up some draft capital. Charles Leno, the left tackle, was terrible. You're gone. So both their tackles should be gone. He made about $6 million, so that'd be nice to clear up the cap. The biggest needs, of course, quarterback is up in the air. They need a whole new offensive line. I like that Whitehair, Cody Whitehair. He's pretty good. But what do they do at quarterback? Well, free agents. I think the talk of Russell Wilson, I don't get it because I don't know how they're going to pay him. I don't know really why he would want to go there with that offensive line. And Deshaun Watson, I just don't see it. Just from a money point of view. Who can they afford? Again, the Sam Darnold trade would be fantastic. Marcus Mariota is a free agent. Jameis Winston, free agent. Those are the one and two picks in their draft. Tyrod Taylor is a fantastic option. Cam Newton is a fantastic option. He played for kicker money last season to prove himself, and I think he did very well on a team that was not built for success. And offensive line, there's Ricky Williams, right tackle from Green Bay. They released him. Kevin Zeitler, right guard. The Giants just released him. Try and swoop him up. You can give him a 3 or 4 year contract. The draft is so much fun because so many opportunities. I'm going to do something Bears fans might not understand, but in the first round, the 20th pick overall, I'm giving you Jeremiah Owuzu-Koramoah because he could play so many different positions. You might need an outside linebacker. You might need a strong safety. You might need a nickel corner. He can do all those things. His cover skills are amazing. He can get at the quarterback, with no problem. That is the best bang for your buck. And in this scenario, take JOK. Second round, you can get Liam Eichenberg, legitimate left tackle, who I would probably have play right tackle, or he could play right tackle, I should say. But in the third round, you get Trey Smith, who can play tackle or guard at a very high level. So that gives you a lot of versatility. And it hurts going from pick 83 to 164, but that was the Khalil Mack trade. But in this scenario, Darius Stills, because I think you might need depth at defensive line because there might be cuts. There might be Akeem Hicks, leaving town. Who knows? And get yourself some more depth at tackle and outside linebacker. If you're dying for an offensive lineman in the first round with the 20th overall pick, great. Here's this scenario. You get Wyatt Davis to play right guard. You still got Liam Eichenberg in the second round. Third round, I think you're going to need an edge. just because I anticipate some shuffling on the Bears. You might need an outside linebacker, and you can still go with more depth at tackle. This one has Ian Book. I don't see him going that late in the draft. He's probably not going to be available. And if you wanted the first round quarterback, they're not going to be available at 20. They're just not. You might get Kellen Mond at 20, which isn't the end of the world. But these Bears got a lot to figure out. Yeah, it's a long march back to the Super Bowl.
We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good.